We're back from the mountains and actually have a very special treat. Recently, one of you commented if you liked their honey glazed shell Cordovan Edwards, you may want to look into their Maduro shell Cordovan Edwards diesels, etc., etc. And that, my friend, is what gathers us here today for this opening. It's July 21st today. I have been hiking through the mountains of Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, Bozeman area. I have not purchased a pair of boots since December 24th, these on December 20th, and they just got here in May. And now I come back and have a wonderful pair of boots to open. So I've been looking at Alden for a while, and I think they call them like cigar in terms of color. The Grant Stone calls them Maduro, but it's a Horween shell, and yes, it's a leather. It's like saying a bourbon whiskey. I get it. But let's take a look at these buttes to see, am I going to be able to find these in my rotation? Like usual with Grant Stone, you get the thank you card, probably doubles as the quality control check saying someone's looked at it. Good old boy Josh, the initial fit card. And usually all you get is, they say that this is to step on for like leather shoes so that you don't scratch up the bottom. For those of you that do get those leather shoes, if you're looking at this and waiting anxiously for your pre-order of leather shoes from Grant Stone, leather bottom shoes. But they always come with a dust bag, and it looks like I got something special. They included a leather cleaner and conditioner from Ashland. Did not order this. I think this might be the first time I've gotten a bonus from Grant Stone. So thank you very much from Grant Stone. Don't know why I got that. I have no idea who I am. I have no affiliation with them. I don't care if you get their boots. I like their boots, and I'm sharing that experience with you. Extra pair of laces and shoehorn with them as usual. Laces will be kind of like the dark spaghetti strap ones. And we will get out the second pair of boots, and let's unveil. And oh my gosh, I hope there's not any. There shouldn't be with Grant Stone. Their quality control is impeccable. If you weren't familiar with Grant Stone, it's a US-based company, but they make a lot of their shoes in China, Xiamen, China. They have a family tie background. There's some podcasts on it that's really, really interesting. But that's another interesting point is they just had another launch of their shell, like batch orders, essentially made to order kind of shoes. And they didn't increase the prices, probably because of like the de minimis being right at 800, which is kind of shocking considering cost of everything going up. So Grant Stone, I'm pretty sure, are doing this out of the kindness of their hearts for us boot nerds. Thank you, Grant Stone, for these. Now let's take a look at the beauties of Cordovan. Ooh, that's nice. I like the paneling here. You can actually see these look maybe just a tad darker for right now. They'll wear in. And then the toe with the skin stitch here is like a little bit lighter. I always love a little bit of interest in my boots. Ooh, that is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. And look at the welt joint right here. Like you couldn't ask for a cleaner welt joint. So Grant Stone, once again, I don't think we're going to be able to find a single issue on this entire shoe. They do not let a boot leave their factory unless it's perfect. Or at least if it leaves the factory and it gets on shore, they correct it. But they'd have to create a lot of duplicates for these made-to-order boots to be able to kind of quickly be able to address those. But we have their brass boot in a Maduro shell Cordovan. If you're not familiar with Cordovan, it's like the membrane of horse butt, essentially. And it's a little bit more, I don't know if there's any pores because it's on the inside at all. I'd have to fact check myself, but as a result, it's just a leather that it won't crack, it won't wear out. Not that leather wears out that often, but it wears in, it rolls more so than creases. And I have very limited experience with it, but it seems to it handles any weather you want because it's just so tight that, and that's part of why when you get rolls, the tighter a leather is. So even if you got like if you're just sticking with just cowhide, if you get like a tighter, thicker, maybe not thicker, but tighter leather, the fibrils are closer together, you'll get more rolls than you will creases typically. I don't want to say that's a 100% rule. But here we have the other boot. And again, oh my gosh, there it is. I was going to say, I can't even find the welt joint on this one. It is literally just so perfectly done. I love this. I know it's a little bit weird because Cordovan can kind of be viewed as a dressier leather. I know this is a work boot type last. They're brass boots, kind of like a work boot, and particularly with the stitching here, it's going to make it more casual with like a little bit more of a shiny, dressy up leather. But this is what I wanted. I've been having some weird neuroma pains in the front of my foot that have now finally subsided. That the extra padding from the treading and the extra space allowing my toes to spread out have been really a blessing to kind of help me work through some of that pain. Had to kind of cut back on some of like the more leather soled experiences lately. So there you have it. We're going to get some close-up shots of this before putting it on, and I'll get a shot of our first official step in it and our first official crease. But I'm very excited about these. What makes Cordovan so interesting to me, on top of just like the animal and where it comes from, is the way that it just feels like it's going to last. And that's a thing that I want to make sure that kind of happens with me, is that products that I buy are things that I don't think you'd really, I mean, you can pass down boots to your kid, but the likelihood of him, he's 10 now, having the same shoe size as me is so small. It's not like a watch band where you can increase or add links as long as you keep them, etc. But the fact that these will wear in over time, I'm really interested to see how these go from just like, I mean, just look how sleek this looks, even with like the casual elements of like the work boots last and the tread. It really just is one of those boots that just seems like I can do anything I want with it. There's never an occasion where I feel like I'd put this on and it'd be inappropriate. Yeah, and the fact that it'll just grow with me over time, as opposed to some leathers, they eventually start to get so bad that they become kind of like the work boots over time, or every now and then, sometimes you retire a boot if you've worn them long enough and worked on them hard enough. But I don't think I'm going to work too hard in these. These are going to be kind of like my nicer, more casual, round town kickers. I don't know. Maybe I will beat them in. Who knows? You tell me what you guys would do with your Cordovan. It's a long process to get a Cordovan, I don't want to say hide, but a oval, I guess. I can't think of what the term would be. I think I'm going to call them circles, medallions. I don't know the actual industry term right now. I don't buy a lot of raw leather. Obviously, my friend does that. But, the fact that this came from a singular animal and it's so rare, the fact that it took 6 months of tanning, essentially stuffed with various fats and oils, and a lot of care was put into it to be shipped across seas, to have a lot of care put into the construction of this boot. I think it's my responsibility as a steward of this product to now put a lot of care and wear into this boot. I do view it as an ethical responsibility to really continue on the artist's dream. I guess that might seem a little bit too artistic, but I really do believe there's a responsibility in these. Hence why I haven't bought a lot of boots lately, and also because I've been traveling. That I think we're definitely going to need to get an update on these. I haven't had many updates on a lot of my boots. I don't know. It's not the type of video that I like, but if that is something you are interested in, let me know, and we will definitely come back on these. So let's get some close-up shots and first steps in these, and appreciate you guys for tuning in.